everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited to have our guest today. So this is Shanna Strickland with Taylor Financial Strategies. Anyway, she's a good friend of mine, and I've known Trevor a long time as well, and a long time staple in our community. And obviously, everybody knows Roger Taylor, so you're familiar with Taylor Financial Strategies. So we're so excited to have you.
Well, thank you.
Welcome. Yay! Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know some things about you, but everybody on the screen doesn't know some things about you. So tell us, you grew up here.
I grew up here, so born and raised in Nash County. My parents own Bottoms Tire here in town.
Yay!
So if you need some car work done, they
That's
can
right.
fix you up. But I worked for the bank in college in Wilmington, but also when I moved back home.
Okay. What bank was that?
It was PNC, which was back in my day.
Right.
RBC Centura.
There you go. That shows your age.
Yes, just a few years. And my parents have been clients of Rogers since I was a little girl. And when I graduated from college, they sent me in to kind of start my planning, what I need to do to get my financial house in order.
That is so good.
That was smart of your parents.
My 24-year-old, I'm starting to, tell him he's getting married.
Yes.
In, less than 2 weeks, which is so exciting. I know. But, I wish that my parents had done that for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, now here's your chance, Trevor.
Here's your chance.
I'm already on
all
it.
The time. Yes.
And they think they don't, oh my gosh, I'm young. I have plenty of time. Oh my gosh, if you just sent $50, set that aside every paycheck or whatever. Unbelievable.
Trevor is correct. So kind of diving into that, Sarah Dixon and I purchased Roger Taylor's business back in 2016. But
I didn't realize it was that long ago.
Yes.
Again, your age, my age too, Trevor's too. Continue on.
So when I started with Roger in 2005, he kind of pulled me away from the bank, and I gradually became licensed. And Roger's daughter Sarah and I purchased his business in 2016, so he can be here with you talking on camera anytime he would like to versus in the office.
Now, when you say licensed, what license?
I was just thinking that, Trevor. Good job.
Yeah.
So lots of fun license. So we have Series 766 Life and Health. So we can pretty much do all of your investment needs, retirement planning, life insurance, of course just helping you save for your child's education. But kind of like Trevor said, Sarah and I pride ourselves on really education. So we thankfully speak here at the school to several classes, a lot of business classes as well, because what our 24-year-olds don't know is when they enter the workforce, how important it is to know what your benefits are. So we enter this, and we don't give our children the keys to our car without teaching them how to drive, but we sometimes give them our credit card or automatically assume that they know what to do with finances, and they don't.
So good.
So smart.
So important to do.
Yes. So we try to talk them through, okay, well, you got your first job. What are your benefits? What is life insurance? What is a retirement plan? And just kind of walking them through each step of that. So
because you're right, most I'm just thinking of most corporate jobs offer some sort of life insurance.
Yes.
And understanding how much that is, and so talk me through that a little bit.
Okay, so with life insurance, most people think what they have at work is enough. But unfortunately, it's not. For multiple reasons, but one, most of the time it's one-time salary, and most of us are not the executive or CEO of a large corporation. So that one-time salary could be $100,000 or $150,000, just kind of depending on our age and where we are on that ladder. But when you leave that job, you also leave that life insurance. Okay. So if that's what you are relying on to protect your family, and you leave that job, now you're left with no life insurance. So it's very important to kind of think through, okay, this is what I have at work, but how much do I need personally, that no matter where I work, even if I work for myself, that I have this life insurance. So it's very important to have what we call personally owned life insurance.
And you can really do it at any time. You know, young people probably think, oh, I don't need that yet, but, you know, middle-aged, and then people might not have it when they're in elder years, but it's never too late, right?
It's never too late unless health changes that. So unfortunately, we don't sell anything that's shiny and beautiful like a new car or a diamond. Most of the time, if people are calling us about life insurance, it means that something tragic in their life has happened. So either they had a heart attack or a cancer scare, or, you know, they had someone very close to them pass away. So that's kind of what normally gets people calling us. So we try, September is Life Insurance Awareness Month. We try.
Is it really?
It is!
Well, that's so timely.
Yes. So we really just try to talk with our clients about the different types of life insurance. We have a lot of Dave Ramsey fans. And Dave Ramsey is really great, especially on teaching us not to live outside of our means, you know, setting that budget, which most people think that budget is the B word, and it's
Bad word.
Right. But it truly does help you kind of rein in your spending. And there's many different types of life insurance. I say many different. Two major ones. The Dave Ramsey fans will tell you, buy term and invest the difference, which is great until you're 75 and you now have no life insurance, but unfortunately you didn't invest that difference either. So, but Trevor is correct. A healthy, just kind of thinking through, like, I can't afford it. A healthy 30-year-old can purchase $500,000 of term insurance, 30 years, which covers
for the mortgage.
For
which
the
is
mortgage.
why you're here to help
For
us
the
talk
mortgage,
about.
yes. So it does cover, you know, if I'm buying a $500,000 house, which
For 30 years old, that's impressive.
I know. But also, you know, $500,000 house is unfortunately almost a starter home these days. So, you know, it's so of course that number
But you were
can
saying
change.
that they can purchase it for about how much?
But less than $40
A month. Okay.
So Good Health buys life insurance. If we have health issues, it doesn't mean that you are automatically disqualified, but it does mean that we may have to pay a little bit more.
Okay.
Well,
okay.
that's
And this
good.
is really the reason we wanted Shanna to come today, because for so many people, your home is one of your most significant assets,
Yes.
right? I mean, I'm thinking about for all of us, even if it's a vacation home for people, that's such an asset. And to think about the tragic, unforeseen things that unfortunately happen in life, and how that then impacts people's finances, not just how they feel personally
Yes.
and emotionally, but their finances. And so trying to mitigate, you know, if something tragic does happen, what it does after that to your family life.
Yes. So just thinking through the mortgage.
Yeah.
Let's say we do have a $500,000 mortgage and the only insurance that we have is through work. So our example, we have a $500,000 mortgage, $100,000 at work, which again, some life insurance is better than none. But life insurance pays income tax free. And not a lot other than a Roth IRA truly pays income tax free.
Right.
So that is a lump sum to your loved ones immediately when they're trying to truly just process the grieving of losing you. It's cash immediately that can be used. Even if it's not to pay off the mortgage, it buys time so that they can think through what are my next steps. Do I, for a stay-at-home mom, do I have to return to work? Like, what does the future look like for me? So buying that life insurance, whether it's term or whether it's permanent, gives that tax-free cash so that you do not lose your home, or, you know, foreclosure, or you don't have to uproot your family.
It's essentially
completely.
buying some stability.
That's correct.
And
Okay.
you really, you probably really get to know your clients so well because you have to talk about such intimate things. And Sterling and I were just talking about that. Real estate is so the same. We both were talking with buyers yesterday, and they tell us everything.
Yes.
Because those transactions are so important in life, and so you really get to be close with your clients, I'm sure.
Yes. So Roger started our company in '76, and I am happy to report over the summer we had 4th generation. So we have the great grandparents, which started with Roger, the grandma, the mom, and now the granddaughter.
Oh, that's
so just
cool.
Oh my
fun
gosh.
to kind of
Very
see
cool.
all of that come together.
I love that.
But just very exciting. Just how, going back to Trevor, how those parents and grandparents are just sharing that education. So it's
So
continuing.
good. And people in the community can use people in the
Yes.
community. I love, working with people that are right here.
Completely agree.
So I want to pull back up something you just said. So, like Trevor's son, who's getting married in 2 weeks.
At
No
Rose,
stress. No
Rose
stress.
Hill in
That's right.
Nashville,
That's
which is
right.
so
Locally.
great.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's great.
No stress there, of course. But getting married in 2 weeks, and then you just referenced this now great granddaughter that you're now seeing. So obviously, I'm assuming some of these people at 22 haven't bought their first home, and so, but that's probably a goal on their list. So talk us through some of the recommendations you might have for someone who's listening or has a grandchild who's that age or a child that's that age, and what you would recommend.
Great question. So lots of things, and really everyone is different because, like she mentioned, 22. I think the most important, number one, is truly just understanding what you have at work, because so many
Okay.
people don't understand what they have. And in addition to life insurance,
You mean like their retirement options?
their retirement options, what critical illness insurance
Got it.
is,
Okay.
what life
Okay.
insurance, health insurance. We could remain on our parents' plan until we're 26. So are we going to continue to do that so that we're saving? But there's truly, time is very, very important as well. And like Trevor said, that $50 per month sounds like a lot, but when we look at it, costs $10 to $12 for lunch at Chick-fil-A
Yep.
now.
Yep.
That's one time per week that I pack my lunch versus going out to lunch. So just small steps, that education piece to know that there's no better time, because if we are
Right.
just getting married, then that truly means that we don't have children yet,
Right,
usually.
right.
And there's no perfect time. We say, oh, our child will be out of daycare and I'll have all this much, much more money.
Oh my gosh,
to
and then the
purchase.
soccer starts and then
Yes.
all the
So
things.
it's always going to be
Always going to be something.
Yes.
Just do it. Just
do it. Just do it. But truly just understanding your benefits
Okay.
that you have
Okay.
at work. And if it is lacking, so let's say Trevor's son is buying a $500,000 house, but he only has $100,000 at work, then there's a gap immediately for his wife. And then when children come, they are not inexpensive. I just have one, and she's quite expensive with, she mentioned soccer, but mine is into gymnastics and
Right.
violin and horses and all things.
Oh, I love it.
Mostly cooking, and so probably going to have to supplement that future husband of hers. But she's fun. She's only 8, but also other things to consider: the budget, not thinking or believing that we have to have $100,000 car at 22.
Right.
Just we don't always have to have instant gratification, which is sometimes hard. And also, when you have children, and honestly, even if you don't, having a will and a power of attorney.
Oh, so good.
Wills, so that it makes it easier for the survivor. But the power of attorney, there's 2 different kinds that we normally tell you to seek legal advice for. So an attorney can kind of walk you through durable, which is someone who's going to handle your finances, and then healthcare. So that's who is going to make the decisions essentially for you. So we highly, highly recommend that truly at any age.
Yes.
Because once a child essentially turns 18, so even when they're away at school, and we're still paying for all of their things, legally, if something happened to them, like, we have no authority. So
I've never thought about it like that.
We have tons of parents who now have power of attorney of their children, but mostly so that they can get information on them if needed, like if they were in an accident or something like that. So yeah, it's kind
you
of.
mean when they
I've
get
never
older?
even thought
Power of
of.
attorney. Wow, I didn't think about that.
I
We
haven't either.
redid ours because that's your
Yes.
children grow, and then suddenly I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I need to update our will, so something to think about. But I
Yes.
didn't think about that.
I didn't either. Mm-mm.
And thinking about guardianship for your children, so that is who would take them
Yes.
if something happens to you and your spouse. So we normally look to someone who's going to be wise to raise our child. And so that can change from time to time. Maybe your person does it, but families change, people move. Unfortunately, people change too.
You know what? I just
Very
was sitting here
true.
thinking, we asked Shanna to come because she was going to kind of talk about sometimes our largest asset, which is our home, and how to protect that. But there's so much more that goes into protecting not just that asset, but everything around that asset that you're talking about. I almost feel like we need to have you back in a few months. So, long and story short is, it sounds like you can help someone that is 22 and fresh out of school, or just starting their first real job, where they don't really understand all their benefit package. And obviously you can help someone that is much older and at a different point with retirement.
Absolutely.
And I do really appreciate that you are willing to help someone that is, at any point in this spectrum, knowing that it's about the long-term relationship. That's so much how Trevor and I feel
Yes.
too. You might be a buyer today that is, buying one small home, and then it might turn into something else or a referral, but it's so much about how we serve you that lets us know that you're doing a good job because you recommended us to someone else,
Absolutely.
or you stick with us.
So true.
We just got a notification that we have to go. We didn't even get to everything we had hoped to talk about. So we're obviously going to have Shanna back with us today. Do me a favor, share your phone number if anybody needs to call you after this with any questions.
Yes, so Sarah and I are happy to help you in any way. We are at 4020 Capitol Drive in Rocky Mount, and our number's 252-937-2253.
Say it one more time.
252-937-2253. I appreciate you having me on.
I'm so glad you came. Thank
We
you for
enjoyed
being
it so much.
here.
Good to see you,
All
as
right,
always.
we'll see you in October. Thank you so much.